Hey everyone, this is your boy Matt, and in today's video, we have a deck matchup. This time, we got Eldlich versus the based deck. Alright, so, do you hate Scythe Lock? Do you think that Scythe Lock is a cancerous, degenerate strategy? I do too. Well, that's one of the reasons I like to play Eldlich sometimes. I mean, you've known I liked Eldlich. It's one of the decks that I enjoy playing, and there are two decks right now that can basically ignore Scythe Lock in the format. Fluanderies can just completely ignore Scythe Lock, right? And Eldlich can completely ignore Scythe Lock. And what better way than to inform another duelist, your opponent, that they're a degenerate, garbage person for for not only taking a deck list and just copy and pasting it straight from, the YCS, like whatever, the base deck, right? He didn't come up with it, right? Certainly no creativity went into building this deck. It was strictly copy and pasted. Let's be real here, right? So what better way to inform your opponent of their degeneracy than to just ignore their little scythe lock completely, and two, just like completely obliterate them. All right, so this is a best of three. Why am I on Dueling Book when I've said before that I think Dueling Book sucks? This is part of like an online event that I was participating in. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. This is a 2-0 clean sweep victory as Eldlich against the based deck. All right, so let us begin. So he wins the die roll, or the rock paper scissors, and he goes first, right? I have a pretty solid opening hand. D-Barrier goes Magical Drain, an Eldlich engine piece, and Witch's Strike. Now, this is game one, and yet you see Witch's Strike in my hand. Why is that? If you watch my previous Eldlich videos, Witch's Strike was in my side deck, was it not? Yes. Since then, and I may put out an Eldlich deck profile video in the near future, I promoted Witch's Strike to my main deck. And the reason for that is, I mean, honestly, just the adventure engine, right? Like, remember, Witch's Strike requires your opponent to have an Omnigate, right? So before I would side deck Witch's Strike when I'm like, all right, so I don't know what deck I'm going to against. They might not have an Omnigate, or be able to set up one easily, right? But now that we're in an adventure engine meta where the adventure engine is everywhere, everyone has an Omnigate, like very early on. So I'm gonna main deck Witch's Strike now. So that's why I'm doing it. This card is amazing, as you'll see in this game. So yeah, so let's get started. He's going to go first. It doesn't matter what he does. I have the God Hand. Let me see if I can fast forward this. Alright, so he's running Punk. So he's also running the Punk engine. So we have Adventure, we have the Punks. Alright, they're tuners, right? Okay. Grab the Draco back, yep. Grab the right. Here comes the Griffin Rider. Yep, all very standard. Basically, I feel like every deck matchup just starts this way. Like Adventure Engine, it's like, what deck are you playing? It doesn't matter. Adventure Engine, like it's always the first play of any Yu-Gi-Oh matchup now. Like that's like, see, I'm not against the Adventure Engine. Like I'm okay with it existing. I just think that it's a little too consistent and convenient. It's a little too splashable. Like I think if they were to limit, and they did this in the OCG, if they limit the Water Enchantress of the Temple to 1, and they limit the Rite of Armesia to 1, I think it will balance this deck, this engine, right? And that's what they should do in the TCG. So eventually I'm going to put out my little ban list prediction video. We don't know when the next ban list is. My guess is it's a May ban list, right? So I'll put out my ban list prediction list in April. Yeah, I'm going to predict hopefully that they follow what they did in the OCG and limit this engine because it's just way too consistent. It just shows up way too often, right? Like it's like every game of Yu-Gi-Oh is just exactly the same. It's the same opening board, the same opening plays. Whether you're playing Prank Kids, Sword Soul, it doesn't matter. It's all the same shit, right? Anyway, let's continue. So yeah, this guy's gonna get a pretty godlike opening. Not gonna lie. So let's fast forward this. There's the Hulk. There's the Rox Rose. There's the Barone, right? So far, so good. Yep. Ooh, the spicy Mari attack. So this is a thing that the base deck is running now, right? Just more extenders, more tuners, and tokens, right? For synchro plays. Here comes the Artifact Dagda. Ooh. It's hilarious, like, whenever I'm playing game one and they don't know what deck I am, and they go down the Scythe path. I'm just sitting there thinking like, ooh, artifact Scythe. Oh no, whatever shall I do? It's just like this game has devolved. Like this Yu-Gi-Oh was already solitaire. Let's be honest here. Like the whole point of Yu-Gi-Oh nowadays, and it's been like this for a while. It's not a new thing. Is like making playing your turn out and creating a board so that your opponent cannot play Yu-Gi-Oh. Like that's the whole point of Yu-Gi-Oh now. Is to play by yourself and stop your opponent from playing Yu-Gi-Oh. Like, and the whole like artifact Scythe, right? Lock that like every deck seems to be going for now. It's just like the embodiment of that, right? It's just personifies that. So yeah, when I see this happen, I'm just like, ooh, all these resources dedicated just so he could pop Scythe on my turn, right? All for fucking nothing. All right, let's continue. Oh no. Ooh, he's even got the Arclight, guys. Ooh, and the hard play Fusion Destiny. Holy moly. Alright, so this face down card is Cross Out Designator. I also find it hilarious. Like, see, this is why I love playing Eldlich, right? The cool thing about Eldlich is like, you play a deck that is so anti-meta, it literally transforms half of your opponent's deck into bricks, right? Crossout Designator does absolutely nothing against me, right? Neither does Droplet, neither does Imperm, neither does Veiler. Literally completely useless. Like, just imagine all these cards being... And again, he spent all these resources trying to get this board so that he can pop Scythe, right? And then... I, it doesn't do anything, right? It's a brick, right? The Scythe package in his deck is a brick, right? So anyway, yeah, it's just hilarious. I'm genuinely amused when I'm playing Eldritch like this because it's like, wow, I can completely ignore the meta, right? All right, anyway, so let's continue. All right, on draw phase, he's gonna activate the Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer, and he's going to pop Artifact Scythe. Oh no, and now I'm locked out of my extra deck, guys. Whatever shall I do? Alright, so here's what we got. So we got Skill Drain, we got Conquistador, we got Witcher Strike, we got D-Barrier, and we got Goes to Match. We held the D-Barrier because, of course, it is a hard once per turn. There's no real point in having both of them. We can only set 5, right? Alright, so I pass to him. Alright, so what is about to transpire is all going to happen during the draw phase. Let's see what's in his hand, actually. Small World. Ooh, okay. Another brick, by the way. Well, brick because he literally has no other cards in his hand to even use Small World with, right? But all right. So check out how I'm gonna play this out. So first, all right. So I'm telling him on draw phase. He goes to standby. I'm like, nah, draw phase, motherfucker. We ain't going to standby. All right. First flip goes in match. Why? Because against the base deck is full attributes. He has 3 lights, a wind, 2 waters, and obviously DP is a dark. I want goes in match. I feel is just like, all right, I'm gonna flip this. If you don't negate this, half your field is gone, right? If you do negate this, I got a surprise for you. So, alright, so he's going to negate, because of course he is, right? Now, question is, Barone or Herald of Arclight? Alright, let's see. He's like, in standby phase. Nah, motherfucker, in draw phase. Alright, so he chooses to negate with Herald of Arclight. Good, alright. So at this point, I'm going to say, you know what? I'm going to allow Goes in Match to be negated here. I mean, not like I can really stop it. Like, Skill Drain only affects monsters on board, right? Like, Herald of Arclight tributes for cost. So yeah, unfortunately Goes in Match is going to get negated here. How unfortunate. Okay. So on res, I'm gonna flip Witcher Strike. All right, so obviously I forgot. He's the turn player who has priority. Technically, Herald of Arclight because it goes to graveyard triggers and he gets to search. He gets to search a ritual monster or spell, right? So technically he should be triggering Herald of Arclight first. So I did. So yeah, so it's right here. It's Chainlink 1, Herald of Arclight, Chainlink 2, Witcher Strike. All right. All right, Herald, Chainlink 1. Okay, he said that in the chat. All right, great. All right, well, I have Witcher Strike. So now, if Witcher Strike does not get negated, uh, destroy all cards your opponent controls and in their hand. So goodbye, entire field. Of course, he has a Baron negate. Obviously, he has a Baron negate. And he's going to attempt Baron negate, and then I'm going to skill drain this motherfucker. I mean, obviously, a Solemn Strike could have worked here. Like, you know, obviously. But skill drain, yeah, let's go with the skill drain. And, yeah, goodbye. So he searches Illusion of Chaos off of Herald. So Herald is the last thing to resolve. It resolves after Witch's Strike. So he does get to keep Illusion of Chaos in hand, but who cares? Like, Illusion of Chaos is going to search him souls, which is a 0 attack special summon that he can't even use its effect to send anything for draws, because he literally has no other cards, right? So, yep. So I try to remind, hey, all the cards in his hand. So Illusion of Chaos stays, but in this case, the other card has to go, right? So there goes Small World. Yeah, and then so we're still in draw phase. I'm going to activate D-Bearer so that his DP does not come back. I call fusions, right? Now, is there a better way I could have handled this? I think, like, if I had gone to standby phase, like, his field was full, he couldn't summon DP, but his Baron has an ability that I think she can, like, destroy herself or tag out. I don't know. I didn't want to fuck with that. I just did it in the draw phase. Like, maybe I could have held this and, like, you know, waited till standby phase so that DP could not come back, right? Whatever. I don't know. Maybe I misplayed there. Perhaps. I just didn't want to fuck with the timings of anything. So I just figured, I'll just do this all in draw phase. I have another D-Barrier in hand. I'm okay, right? I know he's not going to do anything. He has a Magician's Souls in hand, basically. So I call fusions, and then he goes to end phase. I summon my Conch. I draw phase. So Link, Conch into Link Spider. Attack for 1,000. So now I have an Ice Dragon's Prison, a D-Bearer, and obviously I'm going to get my Conch to set Scarlet Sanguine. Let's see what card he draws. He draws Forbidden Droplet, another brick. Oh man, imagine actually spending money, like $120 on this fucking card right here, for it to basically be Rush Recklessly. Remember that card Rush Recklessly from old school Yu-Gi-Oh? Like, oh, it's a quick play spell increase during battle. You increase your monster's attack by 700. That's basically what Forbidden Droplet becomes against Eldlich. It's like, this card does absolutely nothing against me, right? So this is great. Yeah, I mean, he can't even, like, let's say he summons Souls, he can't even send Droplet to Graveyard to draw, because he's going to be skill drained. It's literally worthless, right? It's great. So yeah, he surrenders because, yeah, he got fucked, right? Oh man, I love seeing these like base decks just lose. It's just like one of the most wonderful feelings ever. All right, so let's go to game two. Game two, obviously he's gonna go first. I side in the usual pack, like, doesn't show the side deck here, but you know, I side in like Lava Golems, Sphere Modes, Broken Lines, you know, the usual. Like, watch my Eldlich deck profile to see what I side in. But I mostly keep everything that I have. I think I take out my pots and my Heavenly Prisons, whatever. Alright, so he's going to choose to go... Alright, I'm actually very curious what's in his opening hand here, because it feels like he bricked. So he opens Twin Twisters, Griffin, ooh, double Twin Twisters, Droplet, and the right. So he kind of bricks here. He's like, alright, he gets 2 Twin Twisters. You know, he's going to set up his adventure engine or whatever, but like, damn, he sided in Twin Twisters, and hey man, you sided this shit in. Clearly you wanted to see your side-ins, and you did. Oh man, but this is a sad hand, right? Alright, I mean, let's see. It would be a brick if, like, I mean, how would he fix his hand? Like, so Griffin would be in the deck. Maybe he only wants to see one. I mean, he knows I'm gonna set 4/5. Like, 2 Twin Twisters. Like, he would want to clear all my back row as much as possible, right? But I don't know. It's just like, well, you know, you reap what you sow, buddy. And you kept Forbidden Droplet. Why would you keep Forbidden Droplet against me? You know it does absolutely nothing. This card is a brick against Eldlich. Just saying. If you're playing against Eldlich and you still have Forbidden Droplet in your deck, you need to get that shit out immediately. Like, anyway. Alright, so he's gonna go, but because he already has the Griffin, he's gonna summon it, get the Draco back, get the Enchantress, get the right, yep. This is all you can do, honestly. Alright, So I have a pretty good hand, very similar to my last hand. Goes to match Witch's Strike, right? Instead of Conk, I open Elixir. Instead of my D barriers, I open like Trap Trick, like whatever. Still pretty decent hand. I'm gonna set everything except Needle Sealing, and the reason I want to set everything Needle Sealing, I want to set one Eldlich engine piece, right? I want to set obviously my Floodgate. I want to set Trap Trick because it searches any traps I want. Witch's Strike because I want to bait his Griffin Rider negate, right? And obviously Broken Line is just like a counter negate, basically. So note that I put the Broken Line in this column here, so I want his Griffin Rider to negate because I have Witch's Strike, right? Normally, if I did not have Witch's Strike, I'll put Broken Line here in the middle because it has to be in the same column as Griffin Rider. If Griffin Rider attempts to omni-negate, I'll negate his motherfucker and send him to the graveyard, right? But because I want him to negate, I'm actually going to put Broken Line here because I want to potentially negate whatever back row this is, right? I didn't know it was Twin Twisters. I just guessed. I just figured, okay, it's one of these. I'll just put it here, whatever. Another reason I put in this column is let's say he goes into a link play and it happens to go in this extra monster zone. Well, then I have Broken Line available for that as well. So anyway. Yeah, so I'm going to set everything except the Needle Sealing. Like, if I need a board wipe, I'll use Trap Trick to basically search Torrential. Like, it's not that important that I have Needle Sealing. And I had a hunch that, like, the fact that he only opened with this board means that he did not have his full combo. Like, if he had had his full board, he would have gone into it. So Needle Sealing a little bit, like, not doing anything right now. So, anyway. Alright, so let's go into the draw. His turn, right? The draw phase. I'm going to flip Goes a Match, just like the last game. I want his Griffin Rider to negate. If it doesn't negate, Griffin Rider is a win. The Adventure token is an Earth. He's going to have to send one of them to the graveyard. So this is a negate or get screwed, basically, situation. I want him to negate because I have Witch's Strike. But now he knows I have Witch's Strike. So I'm thinking, like, is he scared to negate me? See, the threat is greater than the execution. It's not about having the card, it's about making them think you have the card. That's how you really get in their heads, right? So he's actually going to go Twin Twisters, which is perfectly reasonable, right? And he had the Draco back in his hand, as is this card, which makes sense because he can now attach it to his little token thing here, right? And he's going to attempt to use Twin Twisters to clear Goes a Match and one other card, right? But looky what I have, ladies and gentlemen. Bam, Broken Line. When the line is broken, yeah, so he gets screwed there. And because this is a counter trap, he cannot chain Griffin Rider, which means Goes a Match will resolve, and he will lose either his Rider or his token. So yeah, he decides to keep the token, I guess because he wants Draco back or whatever. It doesn't matter. I guess Draco back would bounce Goes a Match, supposedly, right? Alright, so he's gonna activate the Draco back. I know he's gonna get it back. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to go ahead and get my Eldlich on the field, and the reason for that is because I don't want him to get his bounce, so I want to put my Eldlich first because I want a Trap Trick, right? I want to Trap Trick into before he Draco backs, so because I'm going to Trap Trick, I want to get my Eldlich off now, because if you recall, after you Trap Trick, you can only activate one trap card for the rest of the turn, so I'm using my Eldlich now because I want to get my Eldlich guaranteed, so alright, there's my Eldlich, so he gets the Draco back, and as soon as it hits the field, I'm gonna play the Trap Trick. Alright, check this out, guys. So I'm going to grab Dogmatica Punishment, baby. You know it, because this one card is going to get rid of 3 of his cards. Check this out. So on res, flip Punishment, target the token, right? Send Entis. Entis pops the token, which will send Draco back to the graveyard, and then the graveyard effect of Entis will pop Fateful Adventure. So his adventure engine is completely dead. He has no adventure. He has no Griffin Rider. He has no Draco back. I mean, he can still like just spawn a token, but like at this point, it's just a body on the field. It's completely useless, right? But yeah, so I'm locked out of traps for the rest of the turn. But like, what is he gonna do? I have Goes and Match, right? Like, what is he gonna do? Nothing. So yeah, So that was all in the draw phase, by the way. We haven't even gotten to the main phase. Right? All right, so he's just gonna pass. So I'm like, all right, cool. Attack mode or attack position. Swing for 25. Bam, 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 boom. So I set Conk because I had Hard Druid, and then I'm gonna banish the Elixir to set Huaquero. Not because I need a banish, I mean, it would be nice to have a banish against DP, but like it's an 1800 beat stick, right? Like I don't want to drag this duel out. Like I'm gonna try to, worst case I'm just gonna summon it and attack, like swing at him for 18, right? So what does he draw? He draws Celestial. Oh man, talk about useless. I mean like, so I would say the worst case scenario is that um he drew Fusion Destiny, right? I would say that like the absolute worst. Granted, he had like 50 cards left in the deck, so like 1 in 25 chance he could have drawn Fusion Destiny. He plays Fusion Destiny. He uses DPE to pop my Gozen match, right? Maybe sends DPE to the graveyard, but if he does, he knows I have the Huaquero, right? If he does not pop his own DPE, I will force him to pop his DPE by using Conquistador, right? And then, so he either chooses to clear a Gozen match. If he does, then Huaquero will banish DP from his graveyard. If he does not, if he chooses to pop the Huaquero because he's afraid of getting his DP banished, then Gozen match is still live. And if he keeps the, whatever, like, basically there's no scenario in which he'll, like, a Destroyer Phoenix will really save him. I mean, it'll be the best play he can make, but like, it's really not gonna save him here, right? Anyway, he goes to end phase. I go ahead and activate Huaquero because, like, he has nothing. He has nothing, right? I'm gonna manage the Griffin Rider just cause. Didn't really see any reason to manage the spells, and I thought, I don't know, maybe if there was a like some monster like Monster Reborn or something that like could get the Griffin Rider out, or requires a Griffin Rider graveyard. I just want to get rid of it. All right, so I draw goes a match. Doesn't matter. I'm just gonna swing. So why do I not do a crazy link play here? Like I could link Eldlich and Huaquero away to Lina, and then I can revive Eldlich back at 3,500 and then swing, right? Like I could potentially have game here, but why don't I? I'm always afraid of the Call by the Grave. I have to play around Call by the Grave, and maybe this set card is Call by the Grave, right? I've played a lot of Eldritch games where you think they don't have the one of Call by the Grave, and yet they have the one of Call by the Grave, and it significantly delays me from winning the game. So maybe I'm being overly cautious. Maybe I can still play through it, right? Because I do have, this Huaquero in the graveyard will search me Elixir, and I can get my second Eldritch out. So, but I figured, you know what? That's still gonna take me 2 turns to finish him, right? I don't know. Maybe again, I was just being careful. Maybe you could argue that I was being too careful, but yeah, I'm just gonna swing here and do nothing else. Yep. All right, so he top decks a Punk monster, right? And then he uses Twin Twisters to, I guess, finally take out. He discards Droplet because it's a $120 brick, right? He's gonna try to take out Gozen Match, and he's gonna take out my Conch. Perfectly cool. Conch will literally like replace itself. Rite of Artemisir, get the token out. All right, cool. In attack mode, that's interesting. All right, and then he normal summons this monster here. So because he used the Rite of Artemisir, I believe he's locked out of using normal summon effects. Yes, so he can't even use this Punk monster to search anything because of Rite of Artemisir. But I don't think he's actually like planning to do anything with Punk. So my suspicion when I saw him summon this monster's a tuner. If I do nothing here, there's a good chance these two go into Halki Fibrax. Halki Fibrax brings out, the Despot, whatever. He goes into a full combo. Or maybe he goes into Anaconda and then I have to deal with DPE when I don't have Conch anymore and I already used my Huaquero, right? Either way, I felt like, you know what? He looked kind of bricked in the last few turns. Maybe he just topped as this Twin Twister. Maybe he just topped like this Punk, right? And now he's finally trying to make a play. So I'm just gonna say, you know what? On summon, let's go ahead and just destroy everything. Like this is he's using his normal summon. Even if his last card was a special summon like Magician's Souls, I don't think he can combo off of it. Like he has one card to send off to the graveyard for like a draw, right? And I still have a Gozen Match in my hand, and my Eldritch engine is just gonna like recycle itself. So I'm just gonna Needle Sealing here, and he's gonna go ahead and surrender. So all right, yeah, that was a duel. So yeah, base deck, highly overrated, very easy to beat, very predictable. Yeah, so if you don't like dealing with Omni Negates, if you don't like dealing with Artifact Scythe, if you don't like dealing with any of the bullshit that the current format has brought us, just play Eldlich, and you don't have to deal with literally any of it. Like, I never drew any of my Solemn cards, right? Like, no Solemn Strikes, right? Like, so, but again, Witch's Strike is so good. Like, part of me secretly wants to, like, go back to my Dark Magician deck and, like, do the trap lineup and maybe add in some Witch's Strikes, so. Not gonna do it yet. I don't know. I feel like my 50 card Dark Magician deck is already in a good spot. But yeah, base deck, hot Garbo is all I have to say. That's my hot take. Anyway, hope y'all enjoyed this matchup. Hope y'all learned something. Hope to see you on the next video. All right, later. Peace.